So thank you very much to Leeds for inviting me to share a few, my thoughts. Saya ni just to give you a brief background, sebab nanti orang kata kenapa cerita dia ni tak ada cerita lain, cerita tu je. My background, I came from an academic background. I served 30 years at UKM and teaching development economics. So I taught undergraduate, masters, and PhD. So, and most of my work and my research work is basically being on what do you call it, rural development, poverty, inequality. So itu memang cerita saya lah. Nasi goreng saya tiap hari lah tu. Okay, maksudnya itulah yang benda yang saya kaji. Now, after I what do you call it, I retired from UKM in 2018. Then I was offered this, what do you call this, fellowship, not offered, basically I was invited because there's only 9 of us, social science, the academy science, the academy, what do you call it, AFS, okay, Malaysian Academy Sciences, something like that, ASM. Okay, Academy Sciences of Malaysia. So there's only 9 out of, I don't know, so we are surrounded by all the scientists, but because it is an academic science, I was really, I really felt privileged to be invited. Then entah macam mana, one day saya menerima pelantikan untuk menjadi Suruhanjaya di Suruhanjaya SUHAKAM, hak asasi manusia. Now, that's another area that what I call really something that I have never dreamed in my life to join SUHAKAM, because bagi saya itu memang, bagi saya really bercerita tentang hak asasi manusia. Now, when Tamizi, when he contacted me, then you can never say no to him. He persuade you, he pull you left and right. When you say here, tak boleh datang ini, tak apa kita ubah macam ni. So somehow or another, I felt really, I felt really honoured, and I'm really humbled by the fact that they are among the few yang selalu invite me, even when there were just nobody. When I said nobody tu, when they were having that, bukan di Hilton lah, sekarang Hilton je lah kan, and Parliament. Dulu zaman tak mewah sangat lah, okay. So he invited me, said, Doktor boleh tak bagi ucap tamu? Saya kata okay lah, for today. And in fact, I'm supposed to be flying off this evening. That's why I kena reschedule my time. Now, panjang lah cerita introduction. Now, when I was given this topic, then I said, what is it that I'm going to talk about? So he said, why don't you talk about shared prosperity, inclusive development for Malaysia? Now, it sounds so bombastic, this word, shared prosperity. Tun M kan suka benda macam tu. Tapi kalau kita tengok Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim lagi lah. Saya kalau zaman dulu, bila budget speech saja, saya akan tercomot depan TV, bukan saya nak dengar budget. Apa Datuk Seri ni nak sebut ayat-ayat baru dia kan. Nanti lepas tu saya pun akan cari dictionary, lepas tu saya pun tak faham. And I never know how to do. But I love language, Many of us tend to be so obsessed with STEM. I am not. Saya ni, bagi saya orang STEM tu biarlah dia STEM, tapi saya suka bahasa ni. Now, given this topic, then I said, what is it that I should do? Then this is where I decided to pecahkan my perbincangan pada dua bahagian. Okay, just briefly, what is it that is discussed as a shared prosperity and then inclusive development? But what I really want to share is basically, boleh tak kita, ataupun kenapa perlunya ada this idea of shared prosperity? Why do we need this shared prosperity thing? Is it just another jargon? Is it just another thing for these politicians to say so that they can announce something during whatever it is? Okay, now, of course, I said, never mind, let me just take up this challenge and give my thoughts on it. Now, if you look at this photo, I am a photographer. Of course, I don't use that camera yang canggih tu, I only use my handphone. You see, because when you do poverty, when you do development, when you do a lot of things, there are things that you cannot, what we call, just bercakap aja. Orang tak akan faham. Just this photo alone, just share, is enough to tell you, this is Malaysia, this is KL. This is not Bangladesh, this is not Pakistan, this is not Africa, whatever it is. I happen to pergi, saya suka makan juga satu lagi. So pergi awal pagi, turun dekat, this is not far from Central Station. So ada kedai mamak, so I pun tek, dia ada bunyi tek tu tak ada lah kan, itu kena drama dia. Went down, suddenly I saw this, I purposely, that, there's a word called hotel there. See, this is about how photography, just capture whatever it is. And I saw this lady, a woman, she was sleeping there, happily enjoying herself. Kita lain duduk kat hotel pun stress. She was sleeping there. Sebenarnya ada 3 lagi di belakang dia. I think they were foreigners. So it seems that this is their hotel for the last God know how many years. So because when I was there, sebab saya juga mengkaji gelandangan dan sebagainya, ramai orang sering beranggapan gelandangan ini adalah orang yang tidak bekerja. No, many of them are working, but they are earning income that is less than what it is how to survive in Melbourne. So I purposely choose this photo just to give you a teaser. Saya suka teaser, saya suka tengok wayang, cerita Tamil, I love Tamil movies. Okay. Now, I will start. So kita ni, many of you grew up, especially the younger generation. I remember when I was teaching at UKM, my students said, when I said to you, your Prime Minister, Dr. Madeline, dia kata, saya cuma tahu Tun Mahathir je. Saya celik mata saja, lahir je, it was Tun Mahathir. Now saya dah nak graduate, dia kata pun Tun Mahathir saja. Menunjukkan betapa lamanya Tun Mahathir ini dengan Malaysia. But nobody ever dreamed that this man will come back again, some said, to haunt us. But to me, I said, oh my God, I grew up, I was studying in UKM. Jomo was my lecturer. Prof. Jomo, sebut Jomo mati kita. Prof. Jomo, he was my lecturer. Young man, and we will always look forward to his classes. Satu, dia tak ada nota kuliah. Dia ada bawa beg buruk dia, one leather bag. And then not the typical lecturers yang bawa nota kuliah, bawa laptop. No, that is Jomo. He was standing in front there. But he just captured your imagination. He was the one who gave me, he said, if you want to study poverty, you want to study development, dia kata, you have to be on the ground. Because economics is something that you can learn, or you study, duduk dekat bilik je. You know why? With computer and everything, you buatlah model, Tuhan aja yang tahu. Model sana, kami economic, we love modeling. You know why? Because there's a thing that, so that lagi orang tak faham, lagi bagus. Kalau orang faham nanti tak glamour lah kan. So bila you buat model tu, ya ampun, dia punya sophistication dia, punya conclusion dia menunjukkan bahawa yes, Malaysia ada kemiskinan. Ni dia tunjuk ni, datang ni tunjuk ni, regress sana, buat this GSE model, bla 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 bla, just to show that yes, Malaysia has a problem with poverty. Itulah cerita dia. Now, Tun Mahathir came, and then he came at a time, a very difficult time for many of us in Malaysia, because we were never in this idea that the ruling party, BN, will become obsolete to a certain extent. 60 over years kan, 62. Yeah. So Tun M came, but this time he came as a initially, remember, he was a party pemangkang at that time. He was with the pemangkang and everything. And I said, oh, no way that Tun M is going to be able to bring Malaysia ataupun menjatuhkan BN sebagai sebuah kerajaan. But how we were proven wrong. And I remember that night, because I was one of the 4 yang duduk sampai 5 pagi membicarakan, masa itu mengira undi. And nobody believed when we saw that figures coming in, di betul ke tidak. And that was a time when our SPR tidak mahu mengesahkan keputusan. So we stayed on until pukul 5 pagi. Itu yang saya ingat dalam sejarah. So Tun M came in, and when he came in, then he realized, not that he just realized it, he came in at a time when, this is like what we call Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law means if anything were to go wrong, everything will go wrong. So there was this issue of poverty, there was issue of negara, there was issue of 1MDB yang kita tak dah tahu what is that 1MDB. To show betapa rakyat kita dibuai oleh perasaan, wah, the country is going so fast, the economic development, economic growth. We economists love figures, Figures, wow, we use figures, we throw figures left and right. And I always tell my student, and you always remember this, statistics don't lie. Statisticians do. So, statistik ni kami orang ekonomi kan, kalau buat modeling tu, kalau model dia tu tidak bagus, wah, you will try buang this variable, update this variable, supaya regression dia punya kalau regresi tu R squared dia tinggi. But if it doesn't make sense, doesn't matter. Yang penting R squared tinggi and the model is good. So here we are. So we love all the figures that comes in. Then of course there was the model ekonomi baru. The new economic model. Yeah, I was one of those who were very fascinated with NEM because it was very, very well presented. Rakyat mudah nak faham because it was under, I remember it was under pemandu. Wow, we were so impressed. 15,000 USD untuk menjadikan kita status pencapaian kita. Itulah cita-cita kita pada ketika itu, ialah untuk menjadi sebuah negara berpendapatan tinggi. So what was the objective? What was the target then? It was about 15,000 USD, and that time we were only about, I can't remember. Now it is not easy for you to go down on the field. You go down to Sarawak, you go down to the rural areas, bercerita tentang new economic model, bercerita tentang 15,000 USD, convert into Malaysian ringgit, that will be, God knows how much, how many thousands is that, and telling people that is what our pendapatan per capita. Then dia tanya, pendapatan per capita tu apa? Dah satu cerita pula. Now, what it means is that memang niat itu baik untuk menjadikan kita sebagai sebuah negara maju, and at the same time we are trying to get out of what we call that. At that time we were caught in the middle income trap. So immediately after Tun M left, he left the office of the Prime Minister dulu, then we were going very fast in terms of our economic growth. Yang itu kita tidak nafikan. In the 80s and in the 90s, our economic growth was very fast, and we were one of what people look up at us. Our neighbors look up at Malaysia. That feel-good factor was really there. I remember I was doing my PhD, when people ask you, where are you from? I said, I'm from Malaysia. Proudly claim, Malaysia. Okay. Oh, your country is awesome, blah, 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 blah. Of course, everybody remembered the Twin Towers lah. They're so impressed with the Twin Towers. Kita ni orang ni. Then I came back in 1997. That was the year when I came back from my PhD, 1997. That was the year when we started to experience the the crisis of 1997. And then after that, the new government. After that, then we see a change of government. And the last government under Datuk Sri Najib, yes, there was a lot of. We have to admit that BN has done a lot. We cannot deny that. We are what we are today with the good policies yang dari dulu. However, we also need to manage at that time was. Satu ialah expectation, and the other one that we economists call, it's really difficult to you nak capai pembangunan tu, to achieve growth is easy, but how do you manage it? So this is where a lot of our problems come in, managing expectations from the ground, and then the other one is how do you manage success? So be very careful about success. Kalau tak betul pun dia boleh menjadi menghantui kita, Okay, so then. The new government and if euphoria in Malaysia, the world was always looking at us. Nobody ever believed that Malaysia berani mengubah. Then the new government came in. Then when the new government came in, suddenly we are also blasted with all this info and data about betapa hutang negara, blah blah blah. And not only hutang negara, suddenly there was a squabble between yang dulu kata 600 over million, yang di seorang ni pula kata billion, and the other one pula kata trillion. Yeah, the first thing I did was to go and find my calculator. How to calculate 1 trillion? Umur hidup saya sebagai ekonomis, kalau trillion tu pun kami tak pernah letak kosong. Please check how many zeros. Sampai sekarang saya memikirkan kalkulator saya memang tak boleh. Okay. So then after 1 year, then things now is the reality of the new government. So many of us feel very frustrated because we have a lot of hopes. You see, especially you young people. I'm so glad I'm already a dinosaur, so I can blame the young. You see, the difference. You know when you are old, when you start blaming the young. You know you are young because you always blame the old. So you know where your age category is. So now I'm blaming the young. So I blame the young because you all tak ada ni. You tak ada konsep kesabaran. The most you can give allowance is that kita bagi kerajaan 100 hari. So keluarlah argument masa tu, rupanya 100 hari, you open sibuklah tick against the manifesto. I'm not impressed with manifestos. Manifesto hanya untuk, it's not even legally binding. Suka hati dia lah nak berjanji sebab dia nak menang kan, Machiavellian politics. The ends justify the means. Pagi tadi I tengok Bismarck kat depan tu. Alamak, saya kata ingat lagi cerita sejarah saya when I read about Bismarck, because I studied European history, nama seperti itulah. Mana pernah saya kaji history of Sarawak. I kaji, European history. Then last week, then we had just before the budget, then suddenly we have this new Tun M melancarkan SPV, Shared Prosperity Vision. So Tun M is known to be a visionary, leaders, the difference between a leader and, leaders, one of the characteristics is that they are visionary people, So most of us only merancang seminggu pun tak selesai lagi. Some people merancang 1 month, 1 year, but Tun M never. When he came up with his vision 2020, that was in 1982, I can't remember. 92. Yes. We Malaysian thought he was crazy. This pakcik ni entah. At that time, maybe some of you were only how many years old. Suddenly, it's going to be just around the corner. And when it first came out dulu, we just kind of ignore it. The only time I remember listening to 2022 ialah because because I was in the university. So kena hafal kan, nak lulus exam kan hafal kan. You kena hafal, faham tak faham, it doesn't matter. Yang penting jawab betul and you get A or something like that. Then suddenly now, as I grew, not as I grew older, as I am at this level of at this stage of my life, then he came back with another new, but it's almost like, to me, when people ask me recently, what do you think of SPV? I've not been kind also, maybe because I dah tua tau. I said, nothing new. Cik, orang tu pernah nothing new, what do you mean? To me, SPV is just, bagi saya, terjemahan, it's just an, you kutip aja, new economic policy, new development policy, new vision policy, kumpulkan, gabungkan dia dengan, what do you call it, Vision 2020 tadi. Now, you repackage it. So, kalau dalam bahasa Inggeris, you call it new wine in all bottles. But because untuk Islamic compliant, maybe not all wine new bottle. Sorry, you repackage something. So, but because for Syariah compliant, so new orange, all orange in new bottle lah. So, jadi maknanya tidak ada orang kata tak ada benda yang baru. Tapi to be fair, because Tun M, as I said, I don't think he wants to create something new. It is basically benda yang tidak tercapai dan apa yang semua yang dinyatakan dalam Vision 2020 sebenarnya berlaku di negara kita. Apa yang dia bayangkan pada ketika itu sebagian besarnya berlaku. Contoh, kita lihat saja di mana kedudukan kita sebagai negara bangsa tadi. We talk about ethnicity like nobody's business. Every now and then the word is Melayu, Cina, India. Atau CIMB, Cina, India, Melayu. Where is the B? Some people say, Bumi Putra. I said, no, Bangladesh. Sedih tau. You go to classes, you listen to, and everything is defined along ethnicity. So with the promise of the new government is that we will not have anything done with ras or ethnicity. Saya tengok bajet semalam, sama juga. Bantuan peruntukan untuk sekolah Cina, berapa? 100 juta. Bantuan peruntukan untuk sekolah India, berapa juta. Dan sebut lagi, orang asli. Darah orang iban dah naik dah naik sampai ke telinga. Nak sumpit je, nak tunggu bila William Guan Eng, menteri kita nak kata bantuan peruntukan untuk orang iban. Sampai habis tak ada sebut. Inilah dia, bahayanya kita. Maknanya kita masih lagi terperangkap dalam cerita lama. Cuma tu tadi all wine in new bottle. Tapi sebab syariah compliant, all oranges in new bottle. Okay, ya ampun, baru slide nombor 1. Mati saya. So, maknanya, I like the term kemakmuran because it gives it a bigger context rather than pertumbuhan. Because pertumbuhan bagi kami orang economics berbeza dengan pembangunan. Pertumbuhan is always about income, quantify, something that you can quantify. But when you talk about development, then it gets bigger. But when you talk about kemakmuran, it's already apa kita panggil outcome. Outcome. Maknanya apa yang ingin dicapai bagi saya bila saya menerjemahkan ialah kita ingin, kita kata kemakmuran bersama lah ya. So adalah usaha untuk menjadikan Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara yang terus menerus, I like the word the sustainability part, terus menerus membangun secara mampan. So the word mampan, in terms of sustainability and things like that. You see, what is happening around us is that there are a lot of times development just come and go. Dia macam zigzag. One moment is there, next moment is not there. So it is like chocolate chip cookies though, advertisement. So here we are talking about kemampanan, kelestarian. It's not just about environment, but the kind of growth that we want, the kind of development that we want. It is something that we can, what they say, you inherit from your from the past, and then you serahkan pada mereka dalam generasi yang akan datang. Okay, ekonomi yang adil dan inklusif. It must be seen and it must be adil. Mana di situlah ada keadilannya dan dia mesti bersifat inklusif. Ini
Orang Iban bila berdiri depan ni dia selalu rasa tension bila sebut istilah inklusif. Ayat yang begitu sedap, tetapi bagaimana nak menterjemahkan dia dalam perkataan sebenarnya, ya. Okey, dan di peringkat rantaian nilai, for once kita mendengar bercerita tentang rantaian nilai, meaning to say on the rantaian nilai is what? Value chain, okay? And then dia kata, dia masukkan istilah kelas dalam ini. Saya tidak pernah membayangkan perkataan kelas akan muncul dalam ungkapan-ungkapan polisi kerajaan. Because class is always seen as very communistic, very socialist, you know. So, tapi tiba-tiba ada kelas tu. Saya rasa ini mesti Prof Jomo dalam cerita ni, punya cerita ni. When he was the advisor, kan. Because during his class only we talk about class. You know, so ours will always be talking about benda yang very mundane, very safe dalam typical, you know, ni. And then kaum dan geografi sehingga mewujudkan rasa keharmonian. Alamak, mewujudkan rasa keharmonian itu. So maknanya sekarang apa yang kita kata, yang seperti yang selalu disebut oleh Profesor Ulung, dia kata kita yang ada, kita kena membezakan antara perpaduan, kesepaduan dan apa lagi paduan. Dia ada 3 tu, you know. So dia kata ada perbezaan. Yang kita ada mungkin niat untuk mencapai perpaduan, tapi sebenarnya kita belum lagi mencapai apa yang penghujung itu, iaitu betul-betul perpaduan. Okay, but never mind, let's not go into it. So menjelang 2030, another 10 years. Oh my God. Okay, now ada 3 sebenarnya: development for all, addressing wealth and income disparities, and then ada kata united, prosperous and dignified nation. Okay, objektif adalah kalau kita tengok dekat atas tu decent living and blah blah blah. Now I want to look at these 3 things. First is development for all. The other one is addressing wealth and income disparities. Now it's interesting, the word here is wealth and not income. One of the biggest permainan kata-kata, ini antara permainan kata-kata sehingga dia dijadikan sebagai isu yang sering diperdebatkan ialah income and wealth. Apa yang sering digunakan, yang sering diukur ialah untuk membasmi kemiskinan dan menyusun kekayaan ataupun menyusun kekayaan, ya. You look at the new economic policy. And a lot of times the argument between the pro and those who are against it, dia kata apa yang kita guna ialah in terms of wealth ni, kita menggunakan, dia kata equity share. Equity share yang sering digunakan, dia kata yes, kemiskinan tak ada masalah. Tetapi equity share, like the recent one, the latest data is that katanya Malaysia, Bumi Putra punya equity share is only 16%. Now this begs question and answers. Why 16%? 16, not 60, 16. Sedangkan matlamat 30%. Okay? So jadi maknanya selepas 3 generasi of development plans, rangka rancangan jangka panjang, you name it, what is it that the government has not done to assist the Bumi Putra? Maknanya something is wrong. Maknanya kita hanya mencapai 16%. Itu pun bila kalau saya nak desegregate that data, I will start even questioning, yang Iban punya out of the 16% berapa? Entah 0.00001. Itu pun mungkin ada 2-3 orang Iban. Yang satu tu Tan Sri Linggi lah. Sebab dia memang, dia seorang aja cukup mengubah statistik. See, I told you, statistics don't lie. Okay, now balik kepada equity share tadi. So, equity share was calculated at, ini menunjukkan kekayaan Bumi Putra. So, because kita kan punya agihan dia begini. 30% untuk Bumi Putra, 40% untuk non-Bumi Putra, dan 30% untuk kepentingan asing. That was the matlamat dasar ekonomi baru. So, the objective then was to make it kind of 30, 40, 30. That is a very famous ratio yang nak dicapai. So, tiap kali yang bila kita dengar ialah equity share Bumi Putra tak sampai-sampai 30% ni. The highest yang pernah tercapai was about 21%. Now, with the openness of data, with whatever you name it nowadays, it's not easy for you to play with figures anymore. Then people start questioning, including myself. I said, satu, question, kalau di kalangan bumi, kenapa that equity share tak juga mencapai matlamat dia? So, something is not right. So, maknanya dasar kerajaan bagus, tetapi pelaksanaan yang perlu kita tanya. And look at the amount of money that we spend. Itu nombor 1. Nombor 2, besar kemungkinan, 1, it's such an elusive game that it is like a goalpost yang always moving. Then the third thing is that, yang menjadi persoalan kita, adakah angka itu betul-betul tak betul? Is it really 16%? Rupanya you godek. Ini dah salah kerja orang bercara. Now, when you look at it, then we found that the data that they were calculating it using par value. Sedangkan nilai sebenar dalam saham berubah. So, jadi ini antara perkara, tapi dia EPU now is looking at it because orang sudah mula mempersoalkan isu ini. What is it that you measuring? Is it really 16%? 16% nilai par value, tetapi is it really true? Nombor dua, apa peranan GLCs? Ada tak dia masuk kira tak GLCs? All the government linked companies. Saya tidak ada jawapan because these are some of the data yang you memang kalau you nak buat PhD pun you kena buat 2 kali PhD. Because you nak mencari data itu memang seksa. Because in Malaysia, proxy punya proxy, yang ini proxy dengan yang ini, who owns what? Is a data that you cannot find. Only people like Professor Terence Gomez, that's why his book, The Political Economy itu, really very popular because he managed to trace ini UMNO, ini MCA, ini MIC. Baru 3 level bawah ni. Yang ini membeli saham ni, yang saham ini dipegang oleh yang ini dipegang oleh ini. You try to do that, tell me, by the time you retire like me, baru jumpa satu je mungkin. You really need to have, it is data that is not easily available to us. Poverty data is not a problem. Government can hide, but you can go to the survey down on the ground. But this kind of research is not easy because that is the concept of proxy and things like that. But I think now with openness in the data, so macam kita tengok kalau you all yang banyak buat research, DOSM tu, Department of Statistics, there are some data that you can have access. Okay, so jadi development for all ni, it is very important because we talk about equity share, you talk about wealth. So now it's about wealth, and then lepas tu we talk about addressing wealth and income disparity, and then we need to become united. If you look at Vision 2020, memang itulah matlamat Tun M ya. So bila saya membentang di Sarawak, dia orang tanya, how is Tun M as a Prime Minister, and what do you think of his at the moment successor dia, Datuk Seri Najib, Datuk Seri. Okay, Datuk Seri Anwar, tersilap. That was his predecessor. Now I said Tun Mahathir is a very nationalistic. He cannot tolerate as Sarawak for Sarawakian. I don't think he can tolerate. But now, I think sejak umur dia dah berumur sikit, lagipun sejak dia dah berubah ni, he just tolerated. Sarawak, S4S, you go to Sarawak, 31st of August, you hardly see anything to show that we are in Malaysia. It is really, you go, I was there. You see, yang saya sedih sekali saya tengok bendera zaman kolonial. And I thought that was not really, I mean, you may not like whatever it is, tapi you may go for S4S or whatever it is. Tapi bagi saya, you kena be very clear of what is it that you're talking about here. Are you going to talk about we're going back to the good old days? Oh, cannot say good old days. Colonialization. My father is a policeman. My father is a field force. He fought the communists in 1970s. My relatives fought for the nation's independence too. And here you're talking about, just because you're not too happy with certain things, terus keluar, Sarawak mesti merdeka dan sebagainya. Give it time. But Tun M nowadays is very nice. Dia tak layan. So I'm one of those yang I do think that, nation building. But I do believe in the MA63. Saya itu mesti diikut mana yang tertinggal. Now, these are some ini data yang kita dapat dalam ni menunjukkan ketidakseimbangan. Tetapi what I'm going to do today is just to share with you. Some of you may have seen my work. This is to show why do we need this shared prosperity. Kalau kita tengok dari segi household income kita, masih lagi kita menggunakan perbezaan BCI. Itu tadi saya kata CIMB ni, Cina, Indah, Melayu tu. We still use those kind of indicators, decent living, and then regional disparity, very obvious. Sabah, Sarawak. For those of you who have been to Sarawak and Sabah, I'm sure you noticed that. Now, what I'm going to do today is the next step of the next part of my presentation is to show to you some of the things that what I want to show to you is about. Do you really think that? Not really. Do you really think that? These are some of the reasons why I think we really need shared prosperity. Because I'm going to share with you the things that I've captured from the ground from more than 30 years of my work on development in Malaysia. I'm a field person. Okay. Now, when we talk about growth, this is the typical what we call keluaran dalam negara kasar lah. Yeah. That will always be the first thing they will show you, meaning to show gross domestic product. They show up and down. Now, normally the good one is, of course, it keep on growing. The not too good one will be the U shape. Your economic growth, and then it gets down. Lama U dia, very low, and then baru dia naik. Another good one is the V shape. The V shape means it was high, it goes down, and it goes up again. That was when we did in 1997. We call it the V shape. Now, what I am worried is that we will go into this U-shaped economy. Dia turun, lama je kat bawah tu. Baru dia naik. That is what we call the U-shaped economy. But in Malaysia, you can see that it's not really that bad in a sense that cuma nowadays permainannya ialah about we are hovering about 4%. But recently I think it was 4.9%. But the World Bank and many of the international organizations are predicting that we are going to have like below 4.5%. Now, what does that mean? That means our growth is really very low, whereas our neighbors are, if you look at Indonesia and things like that, they are growing up. They're growing quite well. Okay, the one just to show to you, yes, our economy is okay. Then look at the state. This is the latest data because HIS data was until 2016. The next one will be 2018. Now, if you look at it in terms of state, Sabah and Sarawak, look at Sabah, in terms of percentage share of our need, they're very high. And you look at Sarawak, 9.8%, 6.7% percentage share in terms of economic growth. So Sarawak is very high. Tak ada pointer Okay. So, jadi maksudnya di sini Sabah, Sarawak, the states that we have been saying, high poverty, tapi, and in terms of our median is the penengah, they call it, not average. Average bahaya sebab, as I said, ada 2 orang aja yang kaya-kaya, tiba-tiba dia mengganggu data. But this one is just to show to you where we are on average, tengah-tengah. So, the highest is wilayah persekutuan. Yang paling bawah, itu geng-geng lah. Geng kat bawah tu, start daripada Terengganu, Negeri Sembilan, Perlis, Sarawak, Sabah, Perak, Pahang, Kedah, Kelantan. Yang paling bawah tu, memang sedih lah. Cerita yang sama tu. Kalau main football tu, itulah yang kena sebut football tu. Sebab faham, you all can relate more. Okay. So, meaning to say, in Malaysia, we see this trend. Like, remember when we study in school, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. So, benda tu macam seolah masih lagi berlarutan, So, it is structural. Tetapi, besides structural, there is also the issue of politics. Kelantan, which has always been parti yang memerintah di situ adalah parti pembangkang. So somehow another tiba-tiba kita kata kenapalah Kelantan ini sentiasa berada di situ, So these are the kind of things. So yang kita takut janganlah negeri itu dipenalize just because they are from the states yang tidak menyokong kerajaan yang memerintah ketika itu. Saya kena sebut tu sebab Sarawak for the first time menjadi parti pembangkang, dipegang oleh parti pembangkang. So, jadi kita sebut itu supaya dengar-dengar lah siapa yang patut mendengar. Do not penalize the states. Jangan macam cerita dulu. Oh, ini parti pembangkang, kita kurangkan peruntukan dan sebagainya. But I must admit that Sarawak and Sabah got one of the highest peruntukan untuk pembangunan. Now, that begs another question. Kalau dah dapat banyak sekali, kenapa tak maju? Inilah isu keterusan, ini isu governance, ini isu bla 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 bla. This kind of things start coming up. We say yes, they have the most peruntukan. Then why is it? What is happening now? Why is it not? Why the development is not there? Now there's dalam silat ni. Kalau dulu they agree to each other, so the story was okay. Oh, we need more peruntukan. Now terbalik cerita dia. Inilah kerajaan persekutuan tidak memberi peruntukan kepada Sabah dan Sarawak. Kerajaan persekutuan kata, dah bagi banyak dulu, tapi mana perginya? So the issue of where the peruntukan goes is really big. Okay. Another thing that we should look at is in terms of this very famous T20, yang paling atas tu, the top 20%, the middle, yang merah, and the bottom. It is not yet convergence. Of course, cannot be convergence lah. But what we worry most is that dia punya divergence tu makin meluas. The T20, this is the very famous one. So, yang kaya menjadi semakin kaya, yang miskin menjadi semakin miskin. Tapi dalam ni dia tak menjadi semakin miskin, tetapi dia miskin. Yang makin miskin maka dia akan turun kan. Tapi maksudnya di sini, yang banyak sekarang, kalau kita tengok budget, jarang menyebut yang warna merah tu. So ini yang warna merah ni yang mengamuk selalu. And warna merah itulah yang kita. Most of us are in the middle income. B40 ni, yes, they do have a lot of assistance. T20, I don't think they know there is such a thing called budget. Their breakfast is in London. Tengah hari dia makan dekat Paris, dekat dinner dia dekat Kuala Lumpur. That is their life. So I don't think you tanya budget. What is what budget? Yang sakit jiwanya yang M40 ni. Satu, they are the ones who are the workers. Dia banyak yang bekerja. They are the one yang jadi usahawan. They are the ones yang. Tapi if you look at budget, tak ada peruntukan. So dia orang kata, Dr. Mandy, you cakap lah dalam astro ke whatever you say. Ya ampun, dia kata tiba jadi wakil. Okay, but never mind. So that is the problem. Okay, in terms of mean household income kita. But in terms of poverty, ethnicity, yes, we have to admit that kita menerima hakikat bahawa memang katanya kadar incidence of poverty kita makin menurun. Until last month, tiba-tiba datanglah Profesor Philip Alston datang mengatakan, menarik je, dia ada dua side to that story. Dia mengatakan bahawa he went back, we attended his presentation, he shared that sebenarnya data kita tak betul. Dia kata our data at the moment is that 0.4% aja kemiskinan. So that means out of every 100 only maknanya 4 orang aja yang miskin. Wah, sedap hati tengok tu kan. Then suddenly he blasted and said no, that the data is incorrect because cara kita mengukur kemiskinan tak betul. Wah, melompat semua menteri. The first menteri yang melompat was YB Azmin. So he said no, it's a wrong data. Then another issue that I need to raise to you is that sebenarnya kami yang mengkaji kemiskinan dari zaman La sampai sekarang have been telling the government that is really what it is. The garis kemiskinan cannot be used because you imagine menggunakan kemiskinan at 980 ringgit. Memanglah tak ada orang yang miskin kalau especially di Kuala Lumpur. But if you look at Kuala Lumpur, 3,000 lagi tercungap-cungap lagi. So how can you say that these people are not know? So what I'm trying to say here, kita ni bila nama dia orang putih, nama dia Madeline Berma, you all pun ikutlah. Dia mesti betul data dia ni. Apatah lagi kalau dia sebut dia daripada United Nations. But I'm not trying to say that out of spite. But what I'm trying to say, Philip Alston said the right thing. But what I'm trying to say is that it is our people, the way how we look at things. In UM there is a center called Center for Poverty SPDR Research. You name it, siapa semua kajian kemiskinan semuanya ada dekat UM tu. Nobody ever listen to them. People like us. Philip Alston, I met him twice to share our data. Ini yang seronok jadi United Nations now. You come to the country, you organize it in a hotel, and then invite the people, get them to bring their data and share it. He's only here for 10 days. And Malaysian scholars have been studying about poverty for the last God knows how many years. Tak ada pun menteri melompat. Entah baca atau tidak. Tapi bila ni keluar, menteri pun melompat. Happy pun kami. So that finally we said, there is a need for us to review the way we measure poverty. Okay, sikit lagi Okay, panjang sangat cerita Iban. Now, incidence of poverty, another thing is that between majority and minority, you look at orang asli, but yesterday they have so much peruntukan. So, tu yang Iban jealous tu. Sebab they got about 58 million. And I need to mention also that Professor Julie became the pengarah Jakwa for the first time. Not first time, second time. And orang asli, but coming from a background who coming from the orang asli community yang menjadi ketua pengarah dia. Okay, so you look at that, Malaysia 0.4%, orang asli 34%, Bumi Putera Sabah is about 20%, Bumi Putera Sarawak 7.3%. However, the irony of it, I wrote one article and terus saya kena belasah daripada left and right. I wrote one article based on the data that was I got the data from the Department of Statistics when I wrote this article called 7 out of 10 poorest districts in Malaysia from Sarawak. Mengamuklah orang Sarawak. Apatah lagi nama tempat-tempat tu. Imagine 7. Actually the data was for 25. Tapi saya ambil the top 10. And out of the top 10 yang paling miskin di Malaysia ialah di Sarawak. 7 out of 10. And out of that 10 yang paling miskin ialah satu kawasan di Sarawak bernamanya Pakan. So this place called Pakan, sekali saya pun dapat daripada WhatsApp saya, because that one was it was in the newspapers. Suddenly I get all this, bagus juga sekali dapat YB komen, Madeline, what do you know about poverty? Have you been to the ground? Blah 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 blah. Saya dah tak larat, jam saya punya handphone. So lepas tu saya kata macam mana nak lawan dia ni. So saya kata tak apa macam ni. Kalaulah betul research tu salah, saya cadangkan, dengan hormatnya saya mencadangkan supaya YB pergi membuat kajian yang sama, interview orang yang sama, buat collect data from all the 25 districts, then prove me wrong. Or else we just terima ya as it is. Because yang buat data tu, research tu, bukan research tu saya yang buat, tapi maksudnya data presentation tu was given by Department of Statistics, and Department of Statistics is really is normally like almost a census, not even a survey. Okay, so they were not too happy with that. Okay, B40. Look at it, B40, Sarawak, and ini kita punya jumlah data dalam B40. And these are all data that you must have access to it through government punya. Okay? So, yang paling rendah sekali B40, of course lah, wilayah persekutuan. So, yang paling tinggi, menariknya, Perak. Aku terkejut kenapa Perak. B40, But B40 is those earning 3,000 and below. Now, another thing that why we need kemakmuran. You look at our gaji, majority daripada kita ni, gaji dia, ialah you look at sekitar, dia kata, citizens earning a median wage, about 83% of us earning, 2,000. Try imagining, harga handphone pun lebih tinggi daripada 2,000, right? And now we're talking about minimum wage. Minimum wage is only 1,100, baru dinaikkan kepada 1,200 kalau tak silap semalam. Now, nak mendapatkan 1,200 tu berkelahi, bersilat, bagi nak berperang, nak menaikkan, because the employers were saying, this is too high. We cannot pay 1,100, because if we pay them, rugilah kami. You know, sebab ni untung punya, kapitalis punya otak. Tapi dia tidak melihat bagaimana kebajikan masyarakat. Imagine, masyarakat kita earning 2,000. I'm talking about median. Memang many of you may be earning 5,000, 10,000, but we're talking about median here. And then dia kata, and about 17% our non-citizens are earning 1,200. Now, this another problem it created when it comes to budget. Bila pendapatan genah, maka apa berlaku? Dia punya cukai, kita punya sumber cukai kita problem. Because kita banyak pengecualian cukai, siapa yang di bawah 2,000 tu maka cukai, dia tidak dikenakan cukai. Now this is a big headache for menteri kita. Mana nak cari cukai ni? And then of course people like us in economics we say, kenapa you buang GST dulu? Kenapa tak kekal GST? So sekarang GST is seen in a different light. Okay, but never mind, that's a different story. So meaning to say our income is very low. Now what does low income means? Satu ialah pertumbuhan ekonomi kita itu tidak dirasai oleh pekerja. What it means is that hasil pertumbuhan ekonomi kita itu lebih dikaut oleh pengusaha. You know, the people, bukan pekerja, tapi the kapitalis. Contoh, saya punya kilang. Saya yang mendapat banyak faedah dari pertumbuhan daripada pekerja. So, saya bayar gaji pekerja rendah, tetapi untung saya tinggi. Itu nombor satu. Yang kedua, apa yang digambarkan di sini ialah maknanya, it also reflects productivity. Productivity kita agak rendah, sebab itulah gaji rendah. Itu yang tu. So ini kalau kita tengok, ini menyebabkan yang isu kos hidup dan sebagainya sangat bermasalah. Kalau kita tengok expenditure household, makin dia tinggi, makin rendah pendapatan dia, makin tinggi perbelanjaan dia. Sebab kita mengira percentage share. Kalau dia risau dia, saya tahu ni apa maksud dia. Maksud dia, Dr. Madeline atau Madeline, we better stop. Okay, this is another worrying thing. We do not have access. Especially if you look at the rural. And look at savings. And mind you, pada kita yang bekerja dengan kerajaan, kajian menunjukkan bahawa after 7 years lepas pencen, ramai yang jatuh miskin. Be very careful of what we have. Now, the rising cost of health, the rising cost of education. So these are things that are of concern. That's why the shared prosperity is really looking into it. Another thing that I'm worried about is also kita tidak ada safety net. Safety net itu maksudnya tabungan ataupun kita tidak ada jaminan keselamatan. Some of us have SOCSO dan sebagainya. Tetapi if anything goes wrong, where are we going to get our ni? Another thing kalau kita tengok tadi dalam shared prosperity, ini I will go fast. Is the most important thing is di mana kedudukan kita dari segi education kita, kerana itu yang nanti akan melengkapkan pekerja kita untuk mencapai tingkat pendapatan yang tinggi. This is really very worrying when we did. Our children, our school children, they went through 12 years of education, but in reality, they are only, sebenarnya tahun pembelajaran dia is only equivalent to 9 years. So this is really when the government bentangkan data ini, kami semua kata, oh my God, what happened to the 3 years? Maknanya there's a lot of wastage along the way. Now, kita nak cerita pendapatan tinggi ni. Ini sekolah tak selesai lagi ni, tempoh pembelajaran. Then we talk about sekolah aliran. Do you know that kita ni boleh break record, masuk dalam Guinness Book of Record, because we have 9 aliran. Bukan 1, bukan 2, 9. Sekolah kebangsaan, sekolah kebangsaan, sekolah jenis kebangsaan Tamil, sekolah jenis kebangsaan Cina, sekolah tahfiz, sekolah agama ni, sekolah muballigh, you name it, international school yang international school yang tak international, private. And then of course of late ni kita menengok perkembangan tahfiz. Banyak sekolah-sekolah tahfiz dan juga sekolah-sekolah yang kita rasa, oh my god, don't tell me, I mean memang betul. And do you know that macam Singapore dia cuma ada national school dalam bahasa Inggeris, and of course international school. Itu je. Yang kita memang break record kita. So when we did a study, we asked them, do you agree to have one normal common school? Majority kata tak nak. See, menariknya Malaysia. Okay, that's why what happened to Malaysia, kita menjadi terlalu polarized. You go to universities, semua terkelompok. Dia tak ada geng lagi. Yang kesiannya orang Iban, dia tak ada geng. Orang Melayu dengan orang Melayunya, lepas Melayu tu dia Kelantannya pula, satu dia ada subset dia. So kalau kat Kelantan tu pula dia ada lagi subset lagi yang kecil. Sian orang Melayu tak ada geng, orang Iban tak ada geng. Then after that the Indians, then what so that is what is happening. Perumahan kita macam tu, sekolah kita macam tu, and we no longer visit friends during hari raya, or even and especially Dr. Nick, kalau you nak, this is what I observe is that the Malays don't visit the non-Malay house anymore. So even in Sarawak, and we were supposed to be. So in the end, what do you do? Kita beraya sama-sama. The good old days tak ada. I will visit my Malay friends. My Malay friends, wah happy datang ke rumah. Tak adalah saya nak serve dia ngot-ngot kan. So tapi sekarang isu cawan. Oh, cawan ini dah bersih ke tidak? Cawan bersih tu, you know lah what it means kan. But when I read, when I'm in SUHAKAM, when I talk to Dr. Nick, that is not what Islam is, all about. So that's why we need a new narrative from the young people. What kind of Islam are we talking about here? So of course there is no different version of Islam, but interpretation. Our school is what we call, it is so Malayanized, it is so Islamanized, and the third one, it is so UMNOnized. So we need to do something about it. Kalau tidak, then why do people running away? Why are our students running away from national schools? Sebab dia sudah tidak jadi sekolah pilihan lagi. Aduh, sikit. Satu lagi ialah indeks perpaduan makin menurun. Ini kajian dilakukan di sekolah. And then ini menunjukkan kelulusan bahasa Inggeris. Ini pun bagi saya tinggi angka ni. When I was at Universiti Kebangsaan, I have to mention Universiti Kebangsaan, itu aja pengalaman saya. Berapa minit lagi? Dah habis. Okay, sekejap. When I was at Universiti Kebangsaan, because I know he mentioned this, we need to keep to time. When I was at Universiti Kebangsaan, the word was, my student can't even form, some of my students cannot even form a single sentence in English, a complete sentence. Tak payah argue. Itu bahasa Inggeris. Yang saya takut, yang saya sedih lagi ialah bahasa Melayu dia pun entah macam mana. Itu kan. Okay, now let me just read. You give me 1 minute, seminit. Yang lain tu I tak nak tunjuk. Yang saya nak tunjuk, mana cerita ni? I nak tunjuk gambar. Okay, satu ni yang saya nak kongsi dengan you all, bahawa pendidikan bagi golongan Bumi Putra is not a way out of poverty. If you look at the kategori Bumi Putra, yang paling sangat tinggi penganggur ialah mereka yang tidak ada, yang berpendidikan, which is a paradox. Kita ingat bila dia dapat pendidikan, maka dia akan menjadi lebih educated, maka dia kurang menganggur. But if you look at the 3 categories di kalangan Bumi Putra, yang paling tinggi yang menganggur ialah mereka yang ada pendidikan tinggi. Sedangkan kalau di kalangan kaum Cina, kaum India, is always those yang tak ada pendidikan. Something must be done. Okay. Of course, I nak share foto, penting sebab nak tunjuk, sebab not many of you go to Sarawak. Ini sekolah, ini boarding school kami. Kami punya MRSM. No, it's not MRSM. That is our boarding school. Itu kita bagus tu, kami ada tilang, kami jaga tilang kami baik-baik. Itulah harta mereka. And then our children going to school, saya ambil. Ini yang saya ambil masa saya buat kajian. 6 kilometer saya nak jalan masuk dalam. So that's why we produce the best runners. We produce the best athletes because look at this, memang itulah dia. Look at our students. Memang Penela Ranong memang patut pun. Sebab belajar macam mana nak cross. This is in Sabah. Yang lain tu saya tak nak cerita dah. Dilapidated school. This is my Penan respondent. Cerita citizenship. So you tengok ni. Untuk negara bangsa dia pakai baju apa ni? Baju batik. Ini cerita saya nak pergi untuk mengantar klinik. Ini di Kapit. Kapit tidak ada jalan raya. Yang ada cuma ada express board. Ceritanya ialah mengangkut orang sakit. Ini tengok. Bagaimana mereka mengangkut orang sakit. That is our, inilah kehidupan realiti kami di Sarawak. Inilah cara dia diletakkan dalam express board. Inilah rumah panjang. Kalau mereka, you love to romanticize. Oh, pergi Sarawak, saya nak pergi rumah panjang. Pergi, tapi duduk at least seminggu. Baru you tahu what it is like. Lampu tak ada, semua tak ada. And this is, ini urban poverty. Urban poverty, rumah ini harganya RM150. You look at, di situ tempat masak, di situ God knows what. So, I do not know which one would come first. Masak dulu ke, yang pergi ke situ dulu. Okay, sikit lagi. Ini kawasan Stengan di Kuching. Ini di Sibu. I'm not talking about rural. I'm talking about this. Loss of culture, I'm very concerned about that. That's why dalam shared prosperity, di mana kemakmuran bersama itu perlu juga menyentuh tentang budaya, adat, resam dan sebagainya. Look at the things that we have lost. Ini adalah salong untuk perkuburan untuk mereka meletak mayat, dan we have gone. Ini adalah kawasan kawasan balak kami. Lepas tu habis tu kena rendah. Bukan saya booking tempat kubur, gambar dekat kubur je. Ini Penan area. And this is our common facilities. They shared air. Okay, this is just behind my rumah saya dekat Siokandis. Tepi bangunan yang secantik-cantik tu. Ini orang Iban tanam padi di kawasan terrace house. Ini lagi bengong orang Iban. Bakun, look at that. Welcome to Bakun. Tamak kuasa. Aduh. Okay. Deforestation, loss of livelihood, and then tanah. Isu tanah is big di Sarawak, dams and things like that. Kembalikan tanah kami, nyawa warisan kami. Itu isu Bumi Putera banyak di Sarawak. Dayak is Dayak word, Bumi Putera is Sanskrit, lain-lain is alien. So please don't call me lain-lain, especially jangan panggil saya orang Burma. Okay? They are out. Okay. So you look at this, I will not go into it. So at the end of the day, this is the last one. And then at the end of the day, apa yang diharapkan daripada shared prosperity ini ialah kita menjadi satu negara yang kita rasa kebersamaan itu kena ada. Jangan ada yang lain-lain, ada Cina, Melayu, India. So saya pun nak tanya, what are we having now? Is it shared prosperity versus shared poverty? Yang sedihnya, poverty tak dikongsikan bersama. Okay, kalau boleh, prosperity itu dikongsikan bersama. So yang terakhir sekali saya mengucapkan terima kasih dan memohon maaf. You tengok tu, tersenyum di tengah badai. Rumah. So I love all these things. So with that, saya mohon maaf, dan dengan itu juga saya mengakhiri pembentangan saya pada hari ini. Thank you very much.